Okay, in today's very class, we'll be looking at Power BI, and it's going to be an introductory one towards ensuring that you are conversant with it. Before we understand what Power BI is all about, first of all, what is Power BI? Now, Power BI just stands for, the BI in Power BI just stands for business intelligence, and it is a technology-driven method which helps you to analyze data and also to provide actionable information. For instance, maybe you're working for a corporate organization, or you are an owner of a business, or you're an accountant, or you are a data analyst, or you're a statistician. If you want to be able to ensure that your data gives a meaningful information, definitely Power BI is that choice. Okay, so normally I'm going to explain some certain things to you because it's very important. Now, whenever Power BI is mentioned, it has a substitute which we call table. Okay, so Power BI basically is the substitute for table because both of them are used for what we call data visualization. And most especially, that's why you always hear me make mention of that. And looking right here on my screen, if you look at the right side, you will see where we have visualizations. And that means that Power BI is a data visualization tool. And when we made mention of Power BI, one other thing you should know is that it is a data analytics tool. It is a data analytics tool. In short, there is no way we can be mentioning the top 5 popular data analytics tool without mentioning Power BI. So Power BI is a data analytics tool which helps you to turn your data into meaningful insight. Another thing it does is that you can use it, it's being used for converting data from various data sources into interactive dashboards or into analysis reports. And the truth is that management these days don't want to see reports that are too bulky. But when a report is straight ahead and it gives a meaning, okay? It gives insight into the business. They are happy for that. And Power BI, trust me, is a very good tool in that very aspect. Now, Power BI also offers cloud-based services, okay? It has the cloud version, which you can access online. The one I have here is the desktop version. And trust me, it's up to date. They all have same features. Okay, so same way like we have the Google Sheets, which is an Excel cloud version. Same way we have the Power BI cloud-based service. And you can also use it for interactive. When you say there is an interaction, maybe both of us, we are communicating, you should know what that means, okay? It means that when there is an interaction, one doesn't necessarily need to ask too many questions because already there is a flow, And that's basically how Power BI comes to help you ensure that you can actually create a simple dashboard, can actually create a simple interface so that end users of this information, management of this information can also do what? Understand by seeing all this. So it's very important that you take note of this because it's very important. Okay. Now, why do you use Power BI basically? Why do you use Power BI? Now, one of the things is that it offers features for dashboard visualization. If you see here, there are a lot of features. For example, there is a feature we call the cards. The cards. Okay, you can see the cards. It's a powerful feature. It's a powerful feature. There is a feature we call matrix. Matrix. There is no way you'll be using Power BI without using the matrix feature. There is a feature we call the slicer. The slicer. There's no way you can be using Power BI without using the slicer. Okay, there's a feature we call the KPI. The KPI, there's no way you'll be using Power BI without using the KPI. So all these features are very important. Even the filtering technique, the filtering tool is also very important. So all these are important here, and it's important that you understand this. Basically, there are Power BI tools that we have, or should I say, there are important components that makes up Power BI. For example, we have the Power Query, we have the Power Pivot. Okay. Now for the Power Query, each time if for those who have not followed us in our data analytics class, we talked about the life cycle of data analytics, and we say one of the life cycle is data preparation. That at that point you have to clean your data and prepare your data. Now in Power BI, you can clean your data. Okay, we have it's either you're cleaning it or you're transforming it. So that process of transforming your data, okay, cleaning also occurs, and you'll see what I mean by this. So if you want to clean your data here in Power BI, you make use of a powerful feature of powerful tool we call the Power Query. So same way, you'll get to understand this as we proceed. But like I said, this is just an eye opener into what Power BI is and what it is promising to ensure that you get to see. So Power BI is a very good tool. It allows for real-time dashboard. It builds dashboards for you and also reports for your solutions. And like I talked about the query, it also enables you to clean your data set to ensure that everything are running properly. Now, if you look here on my screen, I believe you can see where we have add data to your report. So now in Power BI, we have what we call data sources, okay? The sources in which you can go and import your data from, okay? Now, basically, the first source is Excel, which you can see here. So that means that a workbook can have data entered manually or data which is queried and loaded from external data sources. So if, for example, we are going to look into this example. Say, for example, we want to look into the example where we have number of box shipped, countries for a business, amount, item, and salesperson. We want to add meaning to this. We want to visualize this so that management can understand, you can be able to make decisions. They want to know the performance of all salesperson, okay, based on the number of box of this product that they shipped to the different countries. Power BI is that best tool to give you that kind of outcome. And we're going to use this for our example. So this, at this point, has the data source, which is already on Excel. And that's why I'm saying that this workbook can have its data entered manually or its data, which is queried and loaded into that of the Power BI. Okay, so it's very important that you take note of this. And there are lots and lots and lots. We have the import data from SQL. You know what SQL is, structural query language. We have paste into a blank table, try a sample data set. And if you want to see other data sources, you come over to where we have get data. When you click on it, it shows you lots and lots of different data sources. You can click on more and it expands. It expands for you to go and see those different sources. Just give it a minute, you're going to see it come up. So there are a lot of data sources you can see both in PDF format if you want to import in folder. If there is a file that I have in my folder, all I have to do is to click on folder and click on connect. So it's going to pop up. Then I go look for that file and within the folder where it is. Okay. So this is just some things you need to understand. So this is the Power BI environment. It comprises of three key options that you must understand. We have the model. Model here also stands for relationship. Okay. As a someone who wants now to use model Power BI, you must understand what model is because it communicates or it connects variables, different variables together. Okay, and we have also the data section here. The data, what the data does is that the data is used to see your data. You understand what I mean by doing that practice. Some things are better understood through practical. So whenever you want to see your data, you click on this data box here. But whenever you want to create relationships between your dashboards, you use the model. So for those who are learning financial modeling, who wants to be good modelers, they must understand the aspect of this model. Then we also have the report. This is where you create or build your dashboard. Okay, and it's always made up of different components, different factors, and so on. Then if you look above, you see the file menu, you see the home menu, you see the insert menu. Okay, all these are very important for you. You can see the modeling view here. I'll come back to this. Now, when you're working with Power BI, there are a lot of terms you always hear me or you always use or you see. Okay, and so far I've been using those terms. For example, terms like visualization. I talked about that. Power BI is used when you want to visualize your data. Now, what is visualization all about? Now, it's just all about a visual display of information to achieve one or more objective. And then what visualization does for you is that it offers a single screen. If, for example, I'm visualizing that very data, it's going to offer a single screen that is going to display that very information. And it also alerts users, okay, on issues or problems that relate to whether operational performance and so on. Then you also hear me talk about data sets, because data set is something which you import or connect to. If, for example, I want to import this file, this becomes a data set. So what we normally refer to as data set, it is just something or whatever file, whatever data you want to import or connect to. And data set can be renamed. Okay, by the time you're doing your data cleaning, you can actually rename it, you can refresh it, you can remove it, you can explore it. Okay, then we have the dashboard. I say you use this report section. This is where you build your dashboard. The data section here, this is where you see your data. The model section here, this is where you create relationships to your data. So now let's go back to where you build your dashboard. Now, what is dashboard? Dashboard is a collection which contains more tiles and widgets. We have what we call widget, we have what we call tiles. As we proceed, you see it. For example, if I'm clicking on slicer, this is an example of a widget. Okay, it's an example of a widget or tiles. So dashboard will always contain all this, and I can remove this widget by clicking on these three dots and clicking on remove. Okay, so the dashboard is used to represent a customized view, okay, of those data sets you're analyzing or of those subset of the underlying data set you're working on. So it's very important. And it must be done to prepare your report. So reports here is just one of those pages, okay, here in Power BI. And if you look below here, same way we have the sheet section in Excel, we also have it. You can rename this sheet. Okay, you can rename this sheet. You can add multiple sheet, You can also duplicate your sheets. Okay, so same way it works here. And you can create your reports here from scratch. You can prepare your dashboard, which is very important for you to take note of. Then this is a tile. This is a tile. Okay, a tile normally we refer to it as a single visualization that is found in a report or a rectangular dashboard box which contains each visual. Okay, so you're going to understand this. I told you about the visualization section. This is where you build your visual, this yellow one here, that it says add data to your visual. Then we have the format your report page. If you want to do your formatting, you can do it. And also the filtering section, which is very important for you to take note of. So these things are very important, okay? Because there is no way you can say, I want to present my data without and making sure that you understand this. And the truth of the matter is that when your data is visualized, okay, it helps business end users to take business decisions based on the insight you have given to them. And this is more reason why you should learn how to use Power BI. Because when you learn how to use Power BI, it helps you, it makes your work easier, and it also, helps you generate dashboards and reports, okay, which is very important. So like I said again, that there are components of the Power BI, and normally there are 5 major components. We have the Power Query. Now, the Power Query can be gotten if, for example, I have a data and I said I want to format this data. Okay, you're going to see it in the example I'm going to do. But if I want to format, I'm going to click on Transform Data. If I click on Transform Data, it's going to take me to the Power Query, Okay, so the Power Query is one component. And one thing about the Power Query is that it can be used to search, it can be used to transform, it can be used to clean your data. Okay, so you take note of that. We also have what we call the Power Pivot. The Power Pivot is also another important one. And what it does here is that it allows you to visualize or to analyze and display your data. So whenever you want to visualize, if I want to leave the query, I'll click on Close and Apply. Okay, and I'm back here. Okay, so now whenever I want to analyze or display data, I will come over to the Power View section. And this is the Power View section, okay? So the Power View section allows me to visualize, analyze, and display my data. But we also have the Power Pivot, which normally confuses people. Now, the Power Pivot majorly, what it does is that it is used for data modeling. Okay, when it comes to data analytics, you use it for data modeling. Also have the Power Map. That part brings data to life with interactive geographical visualization. All these things, as a practice, you're going to understand them perfectly, so you know what you are doing. Also, when you're working here in Power BI, there is what we call the DAX function, okay? If, for example, I go to my modeling section, maybe I want to create a new column for date, I'm going to use the DAX function. So this is just one of the advanced techniques or formulas here in Power BI. Okay, now what is the DAX function all about? Okay, it is just a formula expression language. We normally refer to it as DAX, and it is used with various visualization tools. Okay, which one of them is the Power BI? And it is a functional language which contains two data types, either is numeric or other data types. So you must understand how to use that, because if, for example, you want to link columns by columns, definitely, which will show you the relationships, then you should understand the importance of the DAX formula. Now, there are three things in Power BI where you can use the DAX. When you want to calculate columns, when you want to create tables, okay, you're working with tables, you are trying to create new columns, you want to do measurements, okay, then you must understand how the DAX formula works, because it's very important for you to take note of. Let's say, for example, you want to create new columns based on, you have a particular data and you want to create new columns. All you have to do is to do what? Use that DAX formula. In short, I think there is something I need to do to ensure that you get to understand this perfectly before we round up. But before I do that, what are the advantages? I'll come back to the DAX formula. Okay, I'll come back to it with that problem that we are going to analyze. But before we do that, what are the advantages of Power BI? Now, one of the advantages of Power BI is that it gives you a well-featured and understandable dashboard visualization. Okay, also Power BI can be integrated with other visualization tools. That's quite all right. But one good thing it does, okay, is that it offers quick and secure, reliable connection to your data sources. And also it provides real-time, we're able to call real-time reporting for those who are accountants, but here Power BI offers real-time dashboard updates. Okay, so there are a lot of advantages of Power BI. And like I said, it helps you to analyze data and to provide actionable information, which helps corporate executives, business managers, data analysts, entrepreneurs, management to make informed business decisions. And I also say that you need to take note of this, because there is no way you will say, I know how to use Power BI without understanding this. And one of the advanced functions of Power BI is the DAX formula. So you must take this so you can be able to understand how this works over here. So I've told you that the other substitute of Power BI is Tableau, and you must understand how the both of them works. Which is very important. Now, let's get started. To make you understand this, let's go practical now. Let's say we have this information here on my screen here. Okay, we have number of box sheets, and as always, I love to format my data set. Remember what I said data set is, you should be penning those things down. So if I come here and say, this is a data set information, this, say, okay. Now, we want to add meaning to this. Always make sure you format your data based on the organization corporate color. So let's say the organization corporate color is this color. Okay, you can see that I formatted it that way. Okay. Now, this becomes a data set, and starting with Power BI, we must import this in Power BI. So how do you do that? Let me save this. How do I do that? I've saved it with Power BI Prac. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my Power BI, go to my home, Now I'm going to click on Get Data. Then you see Excel workbook. So I'll click on Excel workbook. So this is how to import. So I'll come again. How do you import? Each time you want to work in Power BI, it has a circle. Okay, it has what you start with. You first and foremost, you have to start. When you're working with Power BI, you have to start with what we call data importing or data importation. Now, how do you import your data? How do you import your data? To import your data, come to Get Data, then click on Excel workbook. If the data is on Excel, this is how to do that. If it's on a folder, click on More. Then you select, out of the listed options, you select which one you know that data set is already saved on. If it's in a folder, I can trace this down to folder and I can do this. But let's take a simple example. We said Excel workbook, okay? And I say connect. So when I do that, it brings this option. So I look for it. It's the power. I saved it as Power BI practice one. I'm going to say open. Okay, so now if you look at where it's connecting, it's going to bring it up for us. Now, if you look at that data set generally, it was not making sense. So Power BI helps us to turn it into meaningful insight, adding meaning to it. Okay, it's good to add meaning to something. Now, this folder, this document is open, but we have to select it because it is in this folder. So I'll select sheet one. And how do you see Power BI loaded it for us, and you can see it right here on the right hand side. You see the number of box sheets, the country, the amount, the item, the salesperson. So now I can decide to say, oh, let me do what? Let me transform this data. Let me transform this data. But before I transform this data, let us add something to this. Let me say we have another column. Let me say we have another column over here. We have another column which we can say this is let me say we have another column over here, which you can say this is region. For those of you watching, I'm in Nigeria, and in Nigeria we have what we call states. Okay, country is divided into states. So I can say, okay, no, let's remove this. Let's not talk about states. Let's just say address. Let's just talk about salesperson name. Let's say salesperson name, and then last name. This person first name and last name. Okay, so let me teach you a technique in Excel. Since this data you entered is entering the next, it's not showing fully. Just highlight everything, double click. And it's going to double click, highlight everything, double click on this first column, and it's going to expand it. So for the last name, you can see this is Akin Olabi. This is Temitope. This is Ruth. This is Amos. This is Aziz. This is Abimbola. This is Halima. This is Fatima. This is Tunde. And this is, okay, sorry. Aziz Tunde. Yes, I can just copy Aziz. You'll see Aziz, Amy, Amos, Amy Abimbola, then Akin Alabi, Aziz Tunde, Amy Abimbola. So you can see the last name of Alabi is Akin. The last name of Amy Temitope, Aziz Tunde, Amy Abimbola. Okay, Amy Abimbola. Okay. Aziz Tunde, Akin Alabi, Aziz Tunde, Amy Abimbola. All right, so you can see their difference. So I'm going to save this again, and I'm going to go back to Power BI and cancel. So if you don't want to work with this, you just come over and say cancel. So I will use this option here now, or I still go to get data and click on the data set format. Okay. Okay. So now it's Excel. So I can just click and say Excel workbook. So how do you import data when you're working in Power BI? Come to get data. Okay, click on it. When it brings up the different options, select the data set or data source of the one you need. If it's in PDF, it's in folder, it's in Excel. So I select Excel and I say connect. So once I connect it, I'm going to look for it. So you can see I saved it with Power BI practice. I say then open. So after selecting it, you say open it for me. This is it. So select it under. When you select it, it's going to load up. So you can see the number of box sheets, country, amount, item, salesperson, last name. Now, I want to explain. I added that other new column because I want to explain how to clean your data, because we are in the process of data preparation, because we have defined the problem. Now, whenever you're working with Power BI, tools like Power BI, it starts with a life cycle. First of all, what is the problem you want to solve or analyze? Secondly, have you identified the data? Ensure you have identified the data is available. Identify and check the quality of the data. We have done that. The data is available, the quality of the data, everything is intact. There's a problem we want to solve, of course. Now, what is the next step? The next step is data preparation. You have to prepare this data and clean this data. Now, if you look in here, let me just give a little example of data cleaning. If you look in here, you see that salesperson first name is in one column, last name is in one column. Now we might decide that we want to join this together. There's no need separating salesperson first name and last name. How do you do that in Power BI? You make use of the Power Query. And to do that, instead of me coming here to click on load, okay, I'm going to click on transform. I'm going to transform. If I load, it will load it directly into the report and the data dashboard. But I'm going to transform. So each time you want to clean your data, this is the transformation process tool. You click on transform data. If I click on it, it's going to take me directly to the Power Query. And before now, when I explained the Power Query, you saw that transform option as well when I was explaining it. So please always go forward back to understand this. So right here on the Power Query, I said that I want to clean this data. Maybe the text, all these texts were asked to put it in lowercase, not capital letter. What do? I just have to select it, the column, right click, and I can come. If it's to replace values, I replace. If it was to remove duplicate, I remove. But if it's change the type, I can come to change type, and I come and say I want to change the type of whatever I want to do. And above here, you can also see lots and lots of options based on what you can actually do. Okay, and you can also say I want to view only Cocoa. So in that case, I'll select Cocoa. That's using the filtering tool to show me all the Cocoa and all those who have sold it. So this drop down option filter it for you. If I want to see orange, I can say only orange. You can see oranges and those who sold oranges or who delivered boxes of oranges. But now I want all. So I'm going to do this. Now, what am I going to do here? I said I want to clean this data to match salesperson's first name and last name. What do? I come here, I match two of them, then I right click. When it's either I match it like this, then I come here, I do this. Okay, I believe you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so once I do this and this, I can then do what? Right click, right click. When I right click, I come down to where we have match columns. So if I click on match columns, it's going to bring up this dashboard for me and asking me, how do I want to match these columns? I say, yeah, I want to match these columns with a separator. It's going to ask you which separator. I say, okay, just a space between the names. Of course, you know, our name carries space. Then what should it be called? Let it be called salesperson, salesperson, salesperson. It's as simple as that. Instead of last name, first name, let it just be called salesperson. So I click OK. So this is also the process of transformation to give it meaning. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that the salesperson first and last name have been matched together to give us just one name, which we call Alabi Akin, Emi Abimbola, Aziz Tunde, on and so forth. So data cleaning is something you must do. You must look into your data, ensure your data is in order. If it is not in order, it is your duty to make sure you work with it. And you can always see a lot and lot of options. If there is any column here I don't want to be displayed, I will come and say, choose columns, choose columns, choose columns. I will choose it. If, for example, if you see here we have country, maybe we don't need country. I'll just say untick country and say what? Okay. Definitely country will be taken out, but I can also bring it back and by ticking on country and it will be back. So this is just a little explanation of data cleaning. You can split columns, you can do a lot. If this is not in amount format, you can click right here to change it. If it was a date, you click on this option there and you click on by the side of amounts there, you see it. Now there's one good thing about the Power Query in Power BI. It always keeps the historical data. If you look right here, you see where we have applied steps under query settings section here. Now you will see where we have merge columns, filtered rows, change type, it keeps the historical previous data so that each time you want to know what happened in the past, descriptive. We have three types of data analytics. We have the descriptive, which looks into what happened in the past. Now, each time I want to know exactly what happened in the past, I will come because it keeps that historical data for me, showing me all the different stages, all the different changes, all the different adjustments, all the different applications of whatever I did to this data. So if I come to merge columns, you'll see when I merge columns, if I want to know how was this data before I came here, you see it filtered rows. You just go to where we have source, or you come to navigation. You see how it was before. Says person first name, last name, before I now remove and then did the adjustment, which we have it. So each time you're done with this, you can come here and click on close and apply, close and apply. Make sure you click on close and apply. So it's going to close it and apply it at the same time for you to see. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Power BI. And then we're going to add meaning to that data set that we have so that you understand this at every given time. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying this. My name is Williams. If for any reason you want to learn more further on this, you can always reach me on 0906848,000. All right, now what happens here is this. Our data have loaded up, but it's not showing there. Okay, and I told you, whenever you want to see your data, first of all, come to the data set option here. We have three options by the side, by the left, under the before where we have directly file. You can see it. So if I click on it, I will see my data set. So I come here to see my data set. I can click here on this little V to see the breakdown of my data set. You can see the number of box shipped, country, amount, item, 6%. Now I told you, every data analytics issues starts with defining and understanding the problem. The problem here is that we want to know the number of box shipped by salesperson and the performance of those products in the various countries. We want to do our comparisons. So what do we do? If you come to modeling aspect, you will see this, but this is just one set of variables. So we are not creating any relationship with any tool right now. Okay, we are not also doing any modeling to build DAX and so on. But the issue of DAX is this, which I will come back to. Let me even explain that. If, for example, let's say we want to add a new column to those data sets, okay, this data set that we have, maybe we want to create a new column, okay, like maybe we want to calculate the price. You know, price is not, amount is here. Let's say this was the selling cost. Let's say we want to create a column for the final price, or for maybe the purchase cost or the purchase price. So what do? We use the DAX. So I can come here and do what? Say, okay, there is no column for total price, and I want to make it available there. So what I will do is I will use the DAX function to calculate that new column, okay, so that I can be able to join the quantity and the total price. Okay, what do I do at that point? At that point, all I have to do is for me to come over and say new column, new column. Since it's a new column I want to prepare, I can just say new column and you can see it here. So if it's price I want to calculate, okay, let's say quantity was available. All I have to do is to say price. This is the dark section. I say price equal to, okay, list, okay, list. And I'll be able to calculate that perfectly. So we're going to take this issue of DAX on a different day. So we'll see how the DAX works, because there are a lot of things we can use the DAX for. Okay, there are a lot of formulas you can use the DAX for. And you can see if I want to calculate dates, okay, there's also formula for that of our dates, and you can see date there. So we'll come back to that. All right. So now let's move forward. So you have seen the data set through this data section here. Okay, now let us create an interactive dashboard. Let us create something. Let's turn this data into meaningful insight that someone or management will understand, because the truth is that management don't want something that will confuse them. They want something that they can understand easily. And of course, if you fall in that category, you will be happy when you have a staff who, when he does presentation, he doesn't just prepare on Excel, he also visualizes it for you. So what do? Now we'll come to the report section. This is where you create your dashboard. What I'm going to do is this. I want to run an analysis, okay, to present this data so that someone can understand the number of box each salesperson shipped, okay, the number of box each salesperson have shipped, the number of items, in terms of items performance, what's the item that has the highest delivery, box delivery. Which country ordered most of our products? Okay, if I want to run and answer these questions, this is the problem. So understanding the problem is very important. If I want to understand this, because in the three types of data analysis that we have, the last type is the prescriptive, which has to do with what action should we do now? What action should we do now? So it's very important that when you're working in Power BI, you should understand the three types of data analytics, because they will help you gain or leverage right here. And then there is no way you can pass through this training, okay, without, or this overview, because it's just a tip of it, okay? There is no way you can do that without we exposing you to these three types of data analytics, okay? Because Power BI is one of the most popular tools that you can use out there. And like I said, we have three types. Descriptive looks into what happened in the past. Predictive looks into what might happen. Prescriptive looks into what should we do. So now we said that we want to know the box delivered by salesperson, okay? So that we, for example, want to give an award to the salesperson with the highest delivery, we should be able to. If we want to know the item that was delivered most, we should be able to, that sold out most, okay? We want to know the country that took most of our product, we should be able to. And at that point, we are working on prescriptive analytics, because we want to look into what should we do. So always have in mind that you start with understanding the problem, okay? Because you have to define the business problem. Secondly, understand the data. Check if the data is available, okay? So that you can also check for gaps in that data. And sometimes you can come in your data, you may be seeing different rows in your data set. Imagine you're working with up to 3,000 data sets and you have rows all over. I see data analysts, I see people, accountants, and people who say they know how to use Excel. They come and say, okay, they want to remove the row. I see them come here and highlight it and click on delete, delete. Then they go again to the next one and delete. Imagine you have 5,000 data here. So is that how, and blanks full all over, is that how you'll be moving, coming and deleting one after the other? That's totally rubbish. That's waste of time. It means you don't know Excel. If you know Excel and you're having lots and lots of blank spaces in between, all you have to do is to use an automated feature we call F5. F5. What do I do to cover these blanks? Because this will sometimes affect you, most especially when you want to use Power BI and other tools. What do? I will just highlight Control A. I highlight everything, or I come over here to highlight the whole set of data. After doing that, what do? I say F5. When I say F5, flow with me. We are learning a lot of things here. When I say F5, it's going to bring this box. You see where we have special. I click on it. Then what do I want to adjust? I say, what do I want to specialize on? I say blanks. I can say blanks. I can say blanks. When I say blanks, it's going to give me, there's this option, okay. So I say, okay. When I do that, it's going to highlight all the blank spaces in your cell within your active cells. Okay, it's going to highlight, you can see it highlighted it for me. Now, what is the problem? Problem is these spaces. Now, prescriptive analytics. What should we do now? Ladies and gentlemen, when you're using Excel, what makes you know that you know Excel? At this point, you want to cover these blank spaces. Okay, you say Control minus. When you say Control minus, it's going to bring this box telling you, what do you want to close? I say, I want to close the entire blank rows. So I say entire row. When I click OK, if you observe, it closes those for me immediately. So these are things you should know how to do. Maybe there was a mistake. Maybe there was a mistake in and Aziz. His last name was not actually um Aziz Tunde. Maybe it was something else. You can actually check that under where we have role differences and be able to run your analysis. These are things you should know how to do as we proceed. You'll get to understand these perfectly. So what I'm saying is that let us solve this problem based on data preparation, because it's important that you clean and prepare your data. It's important that you evaluate how, or you build predictive models so you can be able to look into the aspect of evaluation. You have to evaluate how the models perform and also start using that choosing data. So all these are very important. So I'll go back here. So now let's start our analyzing this on our report section here. So if you look in here, you'll see where we have number of box sheets. This is our major tool. We want to analyze everything centered on number of box shipped. So I told you we have the matrix. So it's either I click on matrix, then I drag it inside our matrix. Okay, I drag it inside our matrix and drag it inside our matrix, number of box shipped inside our matrix. So you can see it's loading up, and when it loads up, I'll be able to see that. You can see right here that the number of box shipped in total is how many? Is 158. Let me zoom this for you to see. It's 158, but I'm not going to take this. This is not the best thing to do. So I see people make mistake. They use matrix first. No, we are not working with a number kind of stuff here. We are going straight to prepare a short, simple, interactive dashboard. So what do we do? I'm going to remove this box. Now, what you're going to do is this. First, I'm going to drag number of box shipped alone without the matrix into this box. So that it just bring the widget for me. So here you can see the number of box shipped. Okay, you can see the number of box shipped. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm saying that I want to find out the number of box shipped by countries. So I'm going to drag country inside. So when I drag country inside, it shows me the different countries we shipped our products to. Product was shipped to Ghana, it was shipped to USA, it was shipped to Kenya. So this way, if someone sees this, if a manager sees this, he will know by just bringing cursor here, you can present this that 75 box was shipped to Ghana, 44 box was shipped to of our product was shipped to USA. Also, you can see right here, 39 was shipped to Kenya. Okay. Now, this is just a simple one. Now, what if we also want, and you can see that Ghana is the highest. Now, what if we also want to analyze number of box shipped by product? We also drag it here. Then we'll go and drag the item, which is the products list. We'll bring it there. You can see that so far, orange is the highest product we shipped out, followed by cocoa, followed by mango. Okay, good. Now, what if we also want to analyze the number of box shipped by salesperson? I want to know the number of box each salesperson shipped. Since we have known the countries with the highest and lowest, we have known the product with the highest and lowest. Now we could also drag number of box shipped, and we drag it, we also drag salesperson inside it. So when we drag it, you can also see it here that we are having salesperson, number of box shipped by salesperson. We have Aziz Tunde, followed by Emi Abimbola, followed by Alabi Abimbola, followed by who? We have Alabi Akin, Alabi Akin, Alabi Akin. So you can see Aziz is the highest, followed by Emi Abimbola, followed by Alabi Abimbola, and followed by Alabi Akin. It's very important you take note of this. So this is a little one on this. Now let's look into how this helps solve that problem for us. Now, if, for example, okay, you want to know the total products shipped to Ghana, okay, and at the same time, you want to know the performance of your salespersons based on what they shipped to Ghana, all I have to do is to click on Ghana. When I click on Ghana, what do you notice? It brings up all information relating to Ghana. So you can see that for products, orange was the lowest that we shipped to Ghana. So you cannot ask question at that point. You ask your staff's question. What happened? Why was orange low in terms of Ghana delivery? They will explain. That's evaluation coming in. Okay, evaluation coming in. Okay, you are now evaluating how these models perform. So now you say, mango. That means Ghanaians really love mango. You can see this. Then you go to this person, you say, oh, so Aziz was the person who delivered the most to Ghana. Okay, wow. Amy followed. Wow, that's good. That's good. Alabi did not deliver. You now call Alabi. Alabi, excuse, what happened? Akin, what happened? You have low sales in Ghana. You understand? So this makes it easier for you to perform that. If you want to go to USA, for example, we check USA. You can see it also that in USA, orange was the most, followed by cocoa. There was no mango. And you ask, what happened? This is evaluation. Why is this performance in mango poor in US? Okay. Amy did not deliver any. Alabi did not. You now call them to order and question them. Okay. Aziz have the good one, followed by Alabi Akin. Oh, this is good. So questioning, you question them to see how this you will be able to know the reasons behind all this. So if it's Kenya, I say Kenya. Even if it's based on the salesperson, I want to know all the countries Aziz delivered to. When I click on Aziz, it brings in the countries Aziz delivered to Ghana, US, and Kenya. Aziz did not deliver any cocoa. He only delivered orange and mango. Okay. Alabi, Alabi did not deliver any to Ghana and USA. He did not deliver any orange and mango. He did not sell that. He only sold cocoa and only to Kenya, followed by Alabi Akin. Alabi Akin, highest country was USA. Cocoa was his highest, followed by mango, no orange, no Kenya. So you can see that at this point, these have provided meaningful insight for you to see. Okay, so I'm going to stop here in today's class. I'm going to stop here in today's class. And like I said, the Power BI allows you to visualize your data with dashboards. And these are widgets, these are dashboards. And you can see this one gives you meaning, it adds meaning. So this is just a little explanation of Power BI. Watch out for more. Stay tuned because we will be going more advanced where we use things like the cards, we use things like the KPI, we use other options like if, for example, I want to present this in line. I've talked about the trend analysis. Okay. If I want to present this in line, if I want to go back to completely full, what do? I just double click. Okay. And you can see it brings it back based on the salesperson, the countries. You can see the countries, you can see the cocoa, which is also very important. You can see everything is now in order. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. We have the filtering section. We are not doing any advanced aspect now. We have the as-is, the yes, and so on. So this is just a tip of what Power BI does. It helps you visualize your data with dashboards, and we can run our line analysis for country. You can see Ghana, IS, followed by USA, followed by Kenya. Same way we can come to number of box sheet and we'll say line charts. You can see it, how it's been structured. Okay, and you can also edit each of these boxes. If, for example, I want to edit this, I want to edit this, what do I do? If I want to edit this, what do I do? I can go back to my bar chart. Okay, my bar chart. I can see my bar chart. My bar chart, I can go back. Either I want to use the stack column bar chart or this very one, Aziz, Abimbola, any of them, anyhow you want to do them, you can always do those very adjustments. And you can edit by using build visual. Build visual is where we used to build these dashboards. Or we want to edit, we say format your visual. For example, maybe I want to format this sum of number of box sheets. I will click on format my visual. I will come down. I will come down. I will come down to general. If I come to general, I'll come to title. Title is on, good. I can come and clean this. I can clean it and give it a new heading. Okay, I can clean it and give it a new heading. Now, what is the heading I want to give it? I want to call it sales person reports. So I can just say sales, um, sales, salesperson reports. If I do that, you can see it comes up. I can centralize it, select it at this middle, and I can also say, let me change the text color to this color. Okay, then I say, let me change the background to yellow background. So you can see, can change the text color to blue. Okay, so you can see our salesperson. I can bold this so you can see salesperson report. Okay, so this is just how you'll be able to format. You can format, a lot of options are there to format it. You can make sure you select it first, then come to format your visual. And you'll see a lot of things depending on what kind of problem you're solving. Okay, that's when each tools are used there. Kind of works you'll be doing, you will have to use this filtering tool. It's very important because a lot of adjustments have to be done from that very aspect. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to stop so you can see our data arranged in whatever visual you want to use. You can use a funnel, you can use the funnel, you can use the funnel to also do that. And you can see the funnel gives meaning to showing you the total product that was delivered by or shipped, box that was shipped by Aziz Tunde 81, followed by Bimbola 43 19 15. Now we can say we want to use the card. Now if I want to use the card, I'm just going to click on the card. The card will always give you the total number. The total number is what? 158. 158 was what was shipped. 158 was the total box that was shipped. Okay, 158. So this is just one of the powerful aspects of the cards. In short, I'm going to stop here. So, okay, we have the KPI. We have the KPI. So if I want to use the KPI, you can see the KPI showing us 43, but you can always adjust this. But one thing about the KPI is this: the KPI looks into the current period, So I'm not going to confuse you with this. I'm just going to click here and say remove, Okay, we also have the multi-row card. The multi-row card. You can see the multi-row card. So all these are very important tools you must understand how to use. And like I said, there are different sheets which you can always say, oh, I want to navigate around. And you can undo your last action so that you can always go back to the very last action. So you don't get to complicate or confuse things. And to remove each visual, click on the three dot and say remove. Okay, you can see spotlight. Maybe you want a spotlight on it, or you remove that, then you say remove. So like I said, there are a lot and lot of tools like the multi is very important for you to see. And there are a lot of things you can do with that. There are a lot of things you can do with that. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a tip of this, is a tip of this. And I'm happy that you're seeing this. So I'm going to remove this from KPI. I'm going to remove this from KPI. And we don't want to use our card. Let's use our normal stack bar chart. I can also use our multi-row. You can see it. I'll be number of box shipped depending on what kind of format you want to use. Okay, so we can always use even the pie chart. You can see our pie chart displaying that for us. Okay, and the salesperson as this is blue and this and that. So ladies and gentlemen, you can also use the decomposition tree. Composition tree, you can also use that. You can see 158 and you can bring in, it's a high value. You can also run the analysis. You can see the high value connected, followed by this, Olatunde, Emi Abimbola Alabi, and so on. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Power BI. Welcome to Power BI introductory class, and I'm expecting you to get to understand more and more. You can also click on the map, Now, if it's country, you can click on the map. So now I'm not going to do this because map visual is disabled. So we have to enable it. To enable it, we have to go to File, Options, Settings, Options, Global Security. For example, if I want to do that now, let me take this back. I don't know which you like, if it's the decomposition tree or the slicer is used for years majorly. It's composition tree. I say high value. You can see it from the high value connected and connected. So now I can say, let's go to our file. Let's go to our options. Let's go to our options and settings. Let's go to our options also there. And when it brings it up, we can go to see how we can actually regional settings. Then we say, okay, it's in English for data import, to see how we can come to regional settings to say, wow, this is interesting, that maybe we want to turn on that of our map, which I told you is also a powerful one, most especially when you are trying to do your mapping, okay, to the your mapping, which you can see we are running it based on our countries, and you can be able to do that by ensuring that you get everything working and working for you. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to round up tonight's class. This is where we're going to round up today's class on this introductory section. Please, I urge you to watch this to ensure that you are well guided on how to use the Power BI. And of course, I know that you're happy for this. You're happy for the fact that you can do lots and lots of this that we are doing over here. So you can see the map and field map visuals is not enabled. So you have to enable it to be able to use it. So to enable it, what do? You come to enable it. What do you do? First of all, to use that map for your countries, come to File menu, come down to Options and Settings, come to Options. When you come to Options, what do you do at Options section? At Options section, you come, it's already on Global Options. So you come to where we have Security. When you click on Security, you might not really see it over there. Okay, so I can decide at that point to say, yes, I want to make adjustment. I want to turn on my map visuals to ensure that I can actually run my setup based on my those necessary adjustments of what I want to do, which is very important. So most cases you can use the map visual to see what you can actually map out. And of course, if you want to look into how that is going to aid you, like I said, it's very important that you go over to turn it on, depending on the nature of the task you are performing. So you come to options and settings, you click on the options, then you go directly to your global to take it to your global, then you just come to security. And when you get to security, okay, you can then scroll down, you'll see use map and field map visuals. So I click on it and I say, okay, okay, okay. So I've just enabled that. So provided that have been enabled, okay, I can also decide to use that feature, okay, anytime, depending on what I want to do. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Power BI. This is Power BI, and I'm happy you're here with me. So if, for example, I want to know those countries, which continent do they fall in? Which continent was those products shipped to? Okay, all I have to do is to select that box. If I take it back to, let's say, I'm taking it back to the line chart. I want to present this in terms of countries, okay, to show the countries and their maps, okay. I first of all go to File menu, come down to Options and Settings, come to Options, then I select Security under Global. I select Security, then I will see Map Visuals. Yeah, Map and Field Map Visuals. I turn it on so I can say, okay. So once I've done that, I've enabled it. I then come and say, I select that country box. Then I come and click Map. So when I click on Map, it shows me that, oh, some of our products, 75 products was shipped to Ghana, and Ghana is here in the African continent. There's a little one here. 39 was shipped to Kenya. Kenya is here in Africa continent. There's another one, circled blue box, 44 USA. USA is here, the American continent. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to round up for tonight's class. And you can always minimize this to also fit it in and perfectly somewhere here. So you can see that we have just turned this data into meaningful insight. And this is just the transformation process of what it involves. So you can see our salesperson, number of delivery, and you can also see this. So if, for example, want to view for only this country, Ghana, if I click on it, it shows me all the products shipped to Ghana, that mango was the highest, followed by cocoa, orange. And performance of our salesperson, Aziz was first, followed by Amy, Alabi none, 0, followed by Akin, 3, delivered to Ghana. And I can also navigate to the next country, which is Kenya. I can see it also stretch all over. It will always affect all over. And for go to America, we can also expand this to bring in the America. You can see America here. In North America, we have in USA, and you can see the different performance of the salesperson and of the product. So this way management will understand this perfectly, and we know how they can give informed decision on what next to take. So this is just the process of evaluating this, okay, to know how these models perform. Then deployment is just all about when you start using the choosing models you want to put in place. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to end for tonight. Don't forget, we are looking at Power BI, and we said that it allows you to visualize your data with dashboards. I'm sure you love this video, so please stay tuned with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can always call my number on 09068408000 for a complete training on how you can use Power BI. Thank you very much once again. Have a good day. I will have a nice day. Thank you.